Welcome to Haunted History Tours Presents Paranormal Planet. I am your host, Kalila, and I welcome tonight Father Sebastiaan of the Endless Night Vampire Ball here in New Orleans and worldwide, I might add. He fortunately spends his Halloween season here in New Orleans with us. Welcome, Father Sebastiaan. We just entered into Halloween season, October 2nd here, and we are preparing for the largest event of the Halloween season here in New Orleans, and that is his event, the Endless Night Vampire Ball here in New Orleans. Welcome. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight.
Hey, Kalila, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Wonderful to see you as always. Thank you very much for being here tonight. So tell all the people who are not familiar with the Vampire Ball, tell us about Endless Nights, because now you're worldwide. You are like global.
Yes. Well, one thing that Endless Night is it's a New Orleans based event. Okay. It's a complement to the Anne Rice Vampire Ball, which is a wonderful event, but it's focused on Anne Rice fandom. And New Orleans has such a broad spectrum of magical community that one of the things about Endless Night is it's not about just fandom. It's about everything else that's vampire. We of course honor the Anne Rice Vampire Ball as the original, but they traditionally do Friday nights. And I came down to New Orleans in 1995. I was at the Dark Shadows Festival in New York City in June of that year. I was making fangs, and I met a lovely lady named Sandy, and she invited me to join her in New Orleans for Halloween because she was a member of the Anne Rice fan club. And I went there, and the Anne Rice Ball was the Memnock Ball with Anne Rice in all her glory. She was at her peak then. Interview with the Vampire had just come out. In fact, I'm wearing some fangs that are molded from Tom Cruise's fangs from Interview with the Vampire. Wow. Gary Archer, the master fangsmith that was behind Interview with the Vampire and Blade and the TV show Interview with the Vampire and the movie Interview with the Vampire. And he made these fangs for me as a gift. And I wear them a lot because that movie got me into the vampire world. After Lost Boys, of course.
Yeah.
But
of course, yes.
Going down to New Orleans that year changed my life. But that was the big ball that they had. That was run by Geffen Pictures, who put $500,000 into it, and I fell in love with New Orleans. And I went down to the Anne Rice Ball. I stayed right near the theater in the movie where Brad Pitt saw his last. Where he finally saw his wonderful blue sky while watching Superman. And I had the weekend of my life, and I went to the Anne Rice Ball on Friday, I think the 28th of October or 26th of October, 1995. I was 19 years old. I was with this beautiful girl who was a heavy metal journalist, and she was a journalist for Roadrunner Records. So she was all connected in the music industry. And we went and we stood in line and outside of St. Elizabeth's Orphanage in the Garden District. Right, and imagine little Father Sebastiaan, 19 years old, I couldn't even grow a beard. And a horse-drawn hearse comes up right at sundown, and they pull two coffins out, and they prop them up on the posts next to the entrance to the gate. And Anne Rice came out of a coffin, and I was just like, this is nuts. So Anne Rice changed my life, and I moved to Paris because of her. I ran a tour that was based on the Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned and Vampire Lestat. I always saw myself related to Lestat. I identified so much with him. And when Anne Rice came out of that coffin, it was the first time I ever saw her in person, and I was thankfully 6 foot tall with 3-inch platforms. And I looked over, and then she pulled Kirsten Dunst out of the other coffin.
Wow.
And the audience went batshit, as we say.
I bet they did. Yeah, I seem to recall that happening when she had Kirsten Dunst there with her. That's amazing.
Yes, and they greeted every single guest that walked through the doors out of a carriage. I remember Kirsten Dunst had become a woman in the 3 years since they filmed the movie, so she was busty in the dress that she died in Interview with the Vampire in. And that was the most magical night of my life. And I want to keep that high. So I went back to New York and I threw my first vampire ball. And then I was like, I went back to the Anne Rice Vampire Ball, and it wasn't the production that I expected it to be. So I was like, you know what? There's only one night of this. So why don't I run a vampire festival and block out all the sunlight in a hotel? So I was looking for names, and I was reading Archives of Innocence by William Blake because I'm a big Doors fan. I'm a Jim Morrison junkie. He's another person that made me move to Paris, besides the French cabaret dancer that kidnapped me. I settled on Endless Night. Some are born to Sweet Delight, others are born to Endless Night. And lo and behold, I threw my first Endless Night Vampire Ball at the Omni Royale in 1998, and that became the brand and the production company. And I was like, you know what? Endless Night needs to go around the world. So since then we've ran Endless, and we found our home at the House of Blues in 2000. We've been there for 23 years, minus Katrina, and I think 1 or 2 Halloweens we didn't go there. But we have a great relationship with Live Nation, and our flagship event is in New Orleans at the House of Blues, and it's evolved over the years. It's supposed to be a festival. We do something small on Friday night for people that are not attending the Anne Rice Ball, but we encourage people to go to the Anne Rice Vampire Ball because it's a great, wonderful event with very beautiful costumes, and the Elms Mansion is gorgeous. But we're a very different event than the Anne Rice Vampire Ball. We are all magically minded. We're paranormal investigators. We have witches and vampires that are self-identified. The whole weekend is a ritual. We open at Thursday nights with a opening ceremony. We have the High Priestess of an Alexandrian Coven coming to bless the venue and the event and lead our rituals. But Thursday night is the opening ceremonies, and it's free for everybody to come. So if you want to come down and just hang out, it's from 8 to midnight, ritual at 11:30, because vampires need to go to bed because they have a big weekend ahead of them.
That's right.
Off a plane. But Endless Night Vampire Ball is more than just a vampire ball. It's a big energy vortex. And we make it as simple as possible because it's a mobile event. And we've thrown Endless Nights in New York, where the Vampire Ball started. But we've moved out to Los Angeles at the Globe Theater. We've been in Prague, Germany, Berlin, 4 events in Berlin, 4 years in Berlin, 1 event in Prague in a church across from the astrological clock. Paris from 2011, 2012, and 2013. We were at Moulin Rouge, and and we've done Endless Night at Limelight, New York. If you ever seen the movie Party Monster, that's a sad story. We've done it at the Globe Theater in LA, which is a 1907 Broadway theater with opera boxes, which is my favorite venue. We've moved into Salem with Ben and Lex from Vamp Fangs, and they're a franchise holder, and they have run a wonderful event and taken over the vampire, and not taken over, but expanded the vampire energy and current in Salem. And they do usually the 3rd weekend of September. That's their target date, and they just did a great job. We call them the bougie vampires because they have cheese plates in their VIV. I mean, in Salem you're in bed by 1 o'clock. Okay, well in New Orleans you're just getting up at 1. But having an event in Salem and having people take care of my IP and my dreams and my heart, I couldn't trust anybody more than outside of our core team. What's great about Endless Night is that since we're a ritual, everything is magical. there's an energy, a current of energy that goes through the event. And we have a whole weekend of activities planned from Thursday to Sunday night, VIV classes, VIV packages. The fun thing is the Dark Bazaar, which is vendors and tarot card readers, is free for everyone. And it's Saturday from noon to 6. It's Friday from noon to 6, and it goes all the way through the night. It's in the Voodoo Garden at the House of Blues. Come down, have a drink, meet some vampires, enjoy yourself. Meet people from around the world. And the greatest thing about Endless Night is so many single women come and they meet their life mates or great friends. And each year we have a different theme. This year's the theme is Temple of the Dark Goddess. And it's going to celebrate Kali, Lilith, HHT, on and on and on and on. There's just going to be so many different amazing goddesses. I mean, it's like I'm going to go as the High Priest of Lilith.
Oh, wow.
Red robe for it and everything like that, because I'm a devotee of Lilith. I'm one of the very few men that have been chosen by her.
Wow, that's cool.
And we just instituted a policy of only ambient feeding for you vampires that come in. Okay, there should be enough ambient energy, which is the energy above a crowd, to enjoy that energy. We've had a couple problems with vampires coming into venues and feeding on people. Well, we were in Germany. We threw vampire balls at the Insomnia Club and the Delphi Theater, a 1920s theater that survived the war.
Oh, and wow.
It was awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Trying to please a Berlin audience was not easy. And but we did 4 successful vampire balls in Berlin. And Till from Rammstein used to come, and the singer of Rammstein. And we had it. Friday night was the fetish ball, and Saturday night was the bougie Victorian aristocratic Regency vampire ball in a 1920s theater. It was a little hard on the dance floor because there was a slope. But one year, a woman came with a diabetic kit of syringes, and she's like, "Where's the feeding room? False advertising. You're not the real vampire party." So, yeah. So I was like, well, we don't allow feeding on the property. It's a takeout only event.
Brilliant.
We're about a communion of energy. I encourage everybody to collect as much life force as they can when they come to New Orleans and release it on the dance floor and release it in your and all that. We have 2 tea parties. We have a cruise on the Creole Queen on Sunday night, which I know you're going to be sitting at my table.
Yes, absolutely.
I get to be the captain of a steamboat ship for the night.
Ooh, very exciting.
So Endless Night is described by one journalist who to this day remains anonymous, is a Venetian masquerade meets a rock concert with the elegance of a burlesque cabaret let me look that up. I can't remember that. Endlessnight.com. Endless Night Vampire Ball, New Orleans ball is best described as a Venetian vampire ball meets a vampire court with the energy of a rock concert and the elegance of a burlesque cabaret. And we credit that to Fred Semetti, our spoke spirit.
Yes,
and
he's wonderful.
We really make it affordable for as many people as possible. We have different tiers of tickets. We try to make sure that the event is very well priced so people can afford to come because they're paying for their hotel and their airfare. And we want to make sure that they get the most value for their buck. And we hire as many locals as possible. We have 5 locals on the crew. We make sure that people know that our goal is to go around the world and bring a little bit of New Orleans to everyone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And all roads lead back to New Orleans.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
So that's my goal with Endless Night. And the premiere, we're not the original vampire ball in New Orleans. Okay. But we are the biggest. And we're, the Anne Rice ball is a more intimate thing focused on the Anne Rice mythology and the universe of Anne Rice. So we have spent a lot of energy to try to find other venues of expression. So our themes are like Victoriental, steampunk soiree, Cthulhu apocalypse. We had a Cthulhu event, which was great.
Yeah.
We we like to say that we have the strictest dress code in the world, but
I think you do. Yeah. But it's a beautiful dress code though, and it encourages everybody to really, go all out.
the costumes are crazy. A lot of vid noir, a lot of vid noir. So what we do is we find the best venue in the French Quarter, which is the House of Blues. Okay. And we have a featured band every year, and this year will be the Crook Shadows. And a lot of people don't know what a Crook Shadow is. You know what a Crook Shadow?
No, I don't. What is it?
It's the shadow of a gravestone.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool name for a goth band, right?
That is. I had never heard of that. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So what we do each year is we have a theme. Last year, the Anne Rice Fan Club did the original series, and we did the new series for Interview with the Vampire. AMC came in and sponsored us for doing the show for the Witching Hour and the Vampire TV show. And we were very blessed with that opportunity. Some representatives from AMC Plus came down and hung out with us and did a lot of video. You can go on the AMC Immortal app on the Instagram and see some of the pictures of our members speaking. We do try to stay away from the Anne Rice themes because we want Anne Rice Fan Club to have them.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Okay. And so we're doing themes. I can't wait to reveal next year's theme. I reveal the following.
I know. I keep seeing these little teasers on social media all over the place. I know. It's exciting. I can't wait to hear that.
And what we're going to do is at midnight, we're going to reveal the cover of Vampire Magazine 14. We're going to reveal the details of the Paris event that we're doing. We're doing Fête de Vampire à Paris. My dream on my bucket list is to open the Vampire Theater in Paris. And I'm doing it on May 11th and 12th, but I'm going to announce it formally in a couple weeks, what we're going to do with that. And our team for Endless Night is going to come on stage, and we're going to reveal next year's theme. And most of them, only 3 of them will know the theme for next year.
Wow.
Okay. And it's going to go on a big LED display, but all of our themes try to stay Victorian or Baroque. Okay. We try to stay in the 19th century fashion. That's why we did steampunk and stuff like that. So we're all Victorian, and La Belle Epoque. And we do a lot of French themes because I moved to Paris. And we want to respect the city of New Orleans with every ounce of our being and make sure that all the businesses in New Orleans, including yours, Haunted History, have a place at our table. And we invite the people of New Orleans because 97% of our ticket buyers come from outside of Louisiana for the weekend.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's about 12 to 1,500 people a year.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
And I'm going to tell you, as of this recording, we have 125 tickets left.
Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Right.
So we've sold over 1,000 tickets at the 1st of October.
That is exciting.
Yes. And we do some ticket giveaways, and we do a charity called Don't Be a Monster, which is a charity for monsters coming in and teaching kids how to not be monsters in schools.
Oh, that's really sweet.
So
that's awesome. That's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of beautiful things. You really are, and I love the fact that you are honoring New Orleans the way that you do. I mean, you just, your first love is New Orleans, and you've never forgotten that.
Well, Blancha is the spirit of the land of many tongues. And that was the Native American name for the area around the French Quarter where no one would go at night because there was energy. People would lose their life force at night, and there would be spirits at night. So someone didn't tell the French that when they settled the city. And it's interesting because there's so much connection and parallels between Salem and New Orleans.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, the witch trials and whatnot. But what I didn't realize is that Salem is an older city.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
1629, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And New Orleans was settled in 1700.
17, yes, I think 1726. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's 100 years difference, but New Orleans definitely feels a lot older.
Yeah, it's got an older feel to it, but yeah, everything up there on the East Coast, up there in Massachusetts, it's pretty old as well, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I've been to Salem. It's a beautiful place, definitely a beautiful place, and it's got a feel all of its own. And it's a magical city, just like New Orleans, and also on the coast, just like New Orleans. So they have a lot of similarities, you know.
Salem has a wonderful energy that's so different from New Orleans. And the witch trials are such a big part of this stuff there that I am really happy to see Ben and Lex with Vamp Fangs really amplify and up the vampire world there. And some, I think some witches are turning in their coffins. But it's really good to see the compatibility of the vampire community and the Endless Night vampire community and Vamp Fangs and the city of Salem. I love walking down Essex Street, but it's nuts there in the spring, in October.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
You can't move, and you walk down Essex Street, and it's like the county fair for 31 days. So I like to go to Salem in September when it's just becoming autumn and whatnot. And then having the New Orleans Vampire Ball to look forward to.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Well, we are very excited at Haunted History Tours to be a part of the Endless Night Vampire Ball the entire weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. And we're extra excited to be also offering now a Transylvania trip that we're hoping to encourage. Yes, we got to get that out there too, you know, get people excited about a Transylvania trip. Haunted History Tours is now offering a trip to Transylvania for 8 days. And the one we're doing through Endless Night has, of course, Father Sebastiaan and Patty Negri, the big host of this event. And they're going to be doing rituals and paranormal investigations on this wonderful trip. And this particular trip takes everybody through the stomping grounds of the real Dracula, as well as some of the most haunted places in Europe, like 15 castles and a haunted forest, and some rock formations that are believed to be portals to the other worlds. So some really cool places, some spooky places, and it's going to be quite a trip. So we're really looking forward to that. And I'm hoping to join you guys and tag along and follow y'all all the way to Paris afterwards too.
You know what is going to be amazing? If we sell enough tickets, we can have a vampire bus and a witch bus.
Yes, that would be awesome.
And
that would be awesome. We could do that as well. We could get 2 buses. That's
yeah. And if we get enough people, maybe I'll put them on the guest list in Paris at the Vampire Theater of the Vampires.
There you go, folks. You never know. Come on. Come and check us out. You know, I'll be there at the Endless Night. We're going to have a table there, myself and Bobby, the tour guide, who's our Transylvania tour guide. He'll be there too. We'll be selling tours and getting people signed up for this Transylvania trip for next spring, just in time for the Paris Vampire Ball. So
it's not the Paris Vampire Ball.
Oh, it's not. Oh, forgive me.
I've actually handed the Paris Vampire Ball off to my friend Dan.
Oh, okay.
Ball the Vampire. He runs the Ball the Princesses and Ball the Vampire. And he asked my permission to take over the Paris Vampire Ball brand.
Oh, okay.
But what on my bucket list is the Theater of the Vampires. I have to open
Vampires. Okay.
And he's going to help me produce that event.
All right. Well, that's exciting. That's definitely.
And it's the first year. So let's see how it goes. And maybe we'll do it again if it's a success.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Now, I want to change the subject a little bit because you told me a story, and I don't know if you mind talking about this or not. I know that you've been to Transylvania before.
Yes, I have.
And you have had some magical experiences there, and you had an experience there where something actually attached to you. Did you not?
So when I went to Romania, it was 2016, and I had met a vampire online by the name of Andrea Bathory. Okay, and he was a character. So I wanted to find out if he wasn't some weird stalker, murderer, psycho killer person. So I called him on Facebook Messenger, and he goes, "Hello," and I go, "Oh, come on, that's not your real accent." He goes, "What do you want? I'm Romanian." And I was like, okay, this guy's cool. So I got on the plane and I landed in Bucharest. And when I landed, I called him up and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here." And he's like, "I didn't know you would come so early. I thought you were coming tomorrow. I'll be right there." So I waited in the cafe at this outside cafe, and he shows up and I'm like, "Hey man." He's like, "Are you ready to see Romania?" And he took me on a private 5-day journey through the mountains, and we went to
Wow.
the castle. We went to where, like, I videotaped the whole thing. I should put it up on my blog.
You should. You really should. That would be interesting.
But we went to where Dracula was buried, or Vlad Tepes was buried. We went to where he was beheaded. We drank out of the stream where he was executed. We went to his. We didn't go to his castle, which is just a ruin in the north of.
Right. Yeah.
So we went to Bran, and I tell you, Andrea had this little car, and we were like cruising through the mountains behind tour buses, and we ended up in Bran, where the legendary Dracula's castle is.
Right.
And we went into the castle, and he was telling me about a vampire weekend that he wanted to do in Bran. And I mean, Bran was kind of like the Romanian version of Dracula's Disneyland.
Yeah.
Okay. There was vampire camping everywhere, and there was just like vampire Dracula, everything everywhere. But Vlad Tepes was never in that castle. It was
Right. Well, right. Yeah. That's the one that's the famous one that he's known for. But yeah, he was never really there. But he did own it, so you know.
But the thing is it's a great castle.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And we went to a campsite that he wanted to throw an event at with drum circles and spiritualism and everything like that. And so we went back, and I'm like, "You want to summon some undead gods?" And he's like, "Sure." So we did a ritual from the Temple of the Vampire called the Calling of the Undead Gods, and we were calling the ancient Strigabai. When Strigabai are vampiric witches.
Yes.
And
yes.
when they die, they become Strigamorte. So we it was iconic. We were in this hotel, and there was a left. The apartment was like at a corner, and we did the ritual, and nothing happened. And I look out the window, and there's Bran Castle up on the hill, perfect view under a full moon.
Oh, beautiful.
And the air was so crisp and clean. And I lay down and I look up, and there's an orb floating above me. And I'm like, no fucking way. It actually worked. And I looked over, and Andrea was laying on his bed, and he saw a orb above him, and I put my hands into it, and it looked like something like out of Fifth Element, the globe of water that they had.
Yeah, yeah.
And it went into me, and all Andrea could do is start laughing. And I felt like there was something in me. And I was possessed. Freaking for real. There was a spirit in my head, and it felt like Venom from the movie Venom.
God.
Okay. And I'm like, this is not real. And he's like, it's real, all right. And I'm like, and I was feeling such a sense of power and confidence. But it was like being in the same room as someone forever.
Oh, wow. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was like someone, I mean,
Did it kind of freak you out? Did it kind of freak you out? I mean,
oh, I was freaked out, but I was loving it. I was feeling the most confident I've ever felt in my life. And I would talk to it, and I could have a conversation with it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Andrea started laughing, and I was freaked out. I was totally freaked out. Okay, because we're all alone in our heads,
Oh yeah, yeah.
private space. Okay, and to have your most private space be not private anymore was very weird.
I bet. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
So I fell asleep, and I'm like, if I go to sleep and I wake up, this nightmare might be over. And I woke up, and it goes, hello. And I'm like, it's daylight out. I got possessed. And so Andrea goes, you don't want to lose this. And I go to myself, I'm like, I'm hungry. And he's like, I'm hungry too.
Huh?
So I
Yeah.
asked it what its name was. And he's like, my name is Dazul. And I'm like, what a cheesy, shitty name for a undead god. And so we went home, and I'm having a conversation with this thing in my head and Andrea, and I'm like, Andrea, get it out of me. And he's like, you'll regret this. You will miss me for the rest of your life. And I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm done. Okay. And so what happened next was we went to a rest stop on the side of the road with a little restaurant, and I sat there, and there was these American tourists there, and I'm like, I'm possessed right now. And Andrea's like, don't do that. That you're gonna scare the muggles. And I'm like, okay. So we went back and we did a ritual, and it was like Dazul was just saying, you're gonna regret this. You're gonna regret this. You're gonna miss me forever. Okay. And imagine me, like, the more longer it was in me, the longer I was integrating into it.
That's creepy. That would freak me out.
Yeah. So I
You don't want to stuck with something like that.
I did like an S style thing like this, and we lit all these candles, and he's like, first, Andrea was a witch, so he did all this magic, and we did this ritual, and it went away. To this day, I regret it.
Oh no.
I feel like there's a piece of me missing.
No. Yeah, but you wouldn't want something attached to you like that. It eventually just kind of takes over,
Yes.
That would be weird to go walk, to spend like the rest of your life with a walk-in inside of you.
Well, the thing is that it was becoming a part of me. It was like integrating into my personality.
But that's what they do. That's what they do. And that's what's so frightening about it, because eventually it would have taken over and your personality wouldn't have been there anymore. There wouldn't have been any more you. It would have just been that entity.
Yes, that's true. And when I was a kid, I got a series of books at the library called Mysteries of the Unknown by Time Life Books. Okay. And when I walked into Patty Negri's house for the first time, I saw the entire library of those books.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God. Wow. There's 12 books. And she has the books that got me into the paranormal. And that got me into the paranormal and ghosts. So that's how I was 12 years old when I read them.
Wow.
Yeah, they were at the library at my school, and I loved them. I love going to the library. I miss going to the library now.
Yeah, libraries can be fun.
Yes.
And there's a lot of good paranormal stuff out there too. But yeah, I don't think I'd want to have something attached to me like that. That was like in my head. That would, I don't know. That's not a
power. I would have loved
terrible state to be in. Well, in the beginning, it seems like it's giving you power, but it's actually taking away from your power. It's feeding off of your power.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, it would just take over, and
But I've never felt that powerful before.
But at least you got to experience it.
Yeah, but it's like doing heroin, and you can never do it again. So what we need to do in Romania is we need to have a couple things. One, we need to have a dinner party in Brand under the Endless Night tradition, and we need to do a
Right.
ghost in the UFO forest with Patty and a witch ritual with everybody involved. I think that would be great and amazing.
Yes, yes, we definitely need to do that. And we can do, and we're also going to be staying in a couple of, different hotels that were castles, and we can also do paranormal investigations inside those hotels while we're there as well.
Yes.
So we have lots of opportunity to be doing stuff. And, if people bring with them their paranormal equipment, they're welcome to bring them into any of the locations that we go into and all. And that might be kind of cool when you go to these locations that they believe to be portals, and kind of see what kind of energetic situations you got with some of those places as well. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting.
The whole thing is, did I ever tell you how I met Patty Negri?
No, you didn't.
Well, it all came down to me trying to impress a girl.
Oh, imagine that.
I fell in love with this beautiful British baroness, and her favorite TV show was Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
And I met Zach Baggins in Paris in 2013, and I was like, how would you like to go on Ghost Adventures? She's like, okay, oh my God, I would love to. And I asked her higher self. I didn't ask her directly. Okay. And so what happened was, as I said, I brought us to Vegas, and I said, oh, by the way, we got to be on set by 8:00 tonight. And she's like, for what? And I'm like, for Ghost Adventures. And I'm like, we're going to the haunted museum right now. And Patty and I were just like, oh my God, we're best friends now. And we've been best friends since 2015 or 2016. And we see each other more than our own spouses.
Sometimes that happens, yes.
Yes. In fact, I work out with her every morning for 3 hours.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And she has been the light of my life. She's the most positive person I've ever met. And we turned her into a vampire recently. But that's a secret that I can't share more than what I just told you.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting her. I've never met her before, and I've been no. I've been watching her videos on social media, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting her.
Well, I think you're going to have a blast with her.
I can't wait.
Patty is the coolest person I've ever met. I thought she was so fake. She was so nice. She was fake. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, I didn't believe she was so nice. And I'm like, how the hell is someone so nice and so cool and so positive and such good energy? And
it can happen, yeah.
But you think she's like a light worker. Oh no, she's got some darkness in her.
Oh yeah, you got to have a little darkness in you. Got to have a little darkness.
So we work out every morning up by the lake Hollywood, and everybody's welcome to come. And we walk around the lake after doing some cardio for 30 minutes.
Nice.
Well, that's how you become immortal.
Yep. That is indeed. That's exciting. Well, is there anything else you want to tell our viewers about the New Orleans Vampire Ball?
Sure. Remember 3 things. Come with a good will and a good energy and release it in the event. Okay, let it out. 2, you don't have to be in a perfect costume your first time. Okay, there's so many options, but try to make and customize your own costume. Be creative and build it up. And 3, New Orleans is not a place you visit once. It's a place that you visit every year or every other year. And if Bablancha, the spirit of New Orleans, the mother, my mom, the spirit, the mother spirit of New Orleans loves you, don't hesitate to move there. Okay. And if she says, come back, like my pact with her is I got to go 4 times this year already. And in fact, my grave is in St. Louis #1 Cemetery. And my sister, Shannon McCabe, is the title owner of that. And I get to be buried in New Orleans. My name is already on the grave.
Look at that.
St. Louis #1 Cemetery. And
immortalized in our oldest cemetery. Imagine that.
Oh, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
it's awesome.
I'm already, it's already in my will and I'm ready to go. But I hope it's another.
Don't say that. Don't say you're ready to go. Oh, hold on.
I will be long. I hope that I live twice as long as I've already lived.
I hope you do too. And I'm looking forward to Halloween, spending Halloween with you guys. And I think it's going to be a fabulous weekend.
It's going to be a great weekend. And remember, it's the first Saturday before Halloween. Okay. But in 2025, it's going to be on Friday will be the Halloween, I believe. And then Saturday will be November 1st. So it'll be November 1st that year, but it's usually
wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Saturday before Halloween. We try to do it on All Saints Day. But you know, one thing that I want to tell you is that we have, since we've been at the House of Blues consistently since 2008. We've skipped a couple years in Katrina. We've been at the House of Blues consistently, and we've taken over the space for the weekend. Okay. Our VIV Black Diamond ticket holders have access to the foundation room this year, and we're building the Temple of the Dark Goddess.
You have to repeat that. This thing is, I'm surprised I haven't knocked it down more than I've knocked it down. Okay. All right. Start with your.
Oh, yeah.
Platinum.
So Temple of the Dark Goddess is this year, and it's going to be really, really cool. But we're going to actually have an installation where you can come make offerings at the Temple of the Dark Goddess.
Ooh, that's nice. That's very nice. Oh, that's very cool.
And we also have an iPhone and Android app that has all the weekend activities, and it's free to get the app. And remember, the Dark Bazaar is free from noon to 6.
I didn't touch it that time. That did it by itself.
Spooky shit.
I did it by itself that time. It's not wanting to stay up.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah, I just posted that today. I just posted it today.
At Endless Night Vampire Ball. The new website's endlessnightvampireball.com.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for coming out tonight and also for sharing your story. I love your story. It's fabulous. And I can't wait to have you guys down here and spend that whole weekend with you guys. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
We have an oyster date.
Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
At Boutique de Vampires Apothecary.
Apothecary and oysters and Bloody Marys. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely. Virgin Bloody Marys for me, though.
Virgin Bloody Marys for you, and I'll take mine with vodka.
Thank you, Kalila.
All right. Thank you so very much. Can't wait to see you guys.
Rock and roll.
Have a great evening. Take care.
Discover the enigmatic realms of New Orleans with Haunted History Tours, where ethereal tales, sinister secrets, and chilling encounters intertwine. Whether you're a believer, a skeptic, a true crime fanatic, or just looking to have fun, we'll satisfy your dark curiosity and embark on an unforgettable journey of scandal, legends, the dead, and the undead. Book now at hauntedhistorytours.com and immerse yourself in the captivating allure of New Orleans' dark side. Haunted History Tours. Dare to explore the shadows.